Well, morning everyone. Welcome to Resonate once more. I've introduced this in so many different ways. This is my kind of mini chat show with my mates while taking a bit of exercise around my local park. And I'm really honoured today to have Billy Kennedy, who's with me. He's a friend. He's the leader of the Pioneer Network internationally. He's kind of makes him my boss. Hi, boss. And yeah, Billy's just one of those incredible leaders. He's so easygoing and inspirational, and everybody really always feels very relaxed in Billy's presence. He's just got such a lovely manner, and I've always sort of taken inspiration from the way he leads in different ways. In fact, that little passage in 1 Chronicles where it says, "The men of Issachar who knew the times and the seasons and knew what to do." If anybody sums that passage up for me, it's Billy. So, Billy, welcome to Resonate.
Thank you very much, Phil. It's nice to be here in my kitchen again for the 30th day in a row.
As we were saying, it's just non-stop zooming everywhere now. It's
exactly. I've got my little spot.
So
my bit of artwork in the background.
Oh yeah, obligatory artwork, either an artwork or a guitar. I've actually got a guitar behind me most of the time, so that's the other trendy.
Some books seems popular as well.
That's right. Yeah, mate. What's resonating for you that you'd like to just share with our listeners? Sorry about the wind here. If that's interfering with the sound quality, I'll try and keep it out of my ears. Yeah, I'll go with the wind.
I think they're probably for me one of my earliest thoughts, which I did blog about and post on Facebook. I called it Enforced Sabbath. And I know that I was just observing what Christians were praying. And, you know, some were praying against the enemy, and some were praying, for all sorts of things. But I just began to take a step back and go, well, I am praying. I'm praying for protection for myself, my family, our church community, my neighbors, our city. I am praying for a vaccine to be found. You know, I'm praying for divine inspiration, that some researcher somewhere will have a dream one night and suddenly there'll be a vaccine that will bring an end, like it did with smallpox and other things. So, you know, that's my prayer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's judgment. I don't think it's the enemy. I think it's part and parcel of being in a fallen world that is a bit messed up, and we're just living in that zone, and we have to embrace it. So how do we make the most of the time? And so I was struck by in Jeremiah, where because Israel had not observed the Sabbath, and God said, right, I'm going to give the land rest. And so they went into exile for 70 years, which was all the Sabbath of years that they had failed to observe.
Wow.
And so I then reflected on two things. One, the great resurgence in the Christian world with the ancient disciplines, you know, and in all generations, John Mark Comer's book about hurry and rediscovering some ancient rhythms and patterns. And so this desire within people to say that there's something that's going on in our lifestyle which is crazy. We need to stop, slow down, find some new patterns.
It's been the repeating kind of message, hasn't it, of the last few years?
Exactly. Very, very strongly. Yeah, very strongly. Yeah. Then on the other side, you get the whole sort of global environmental Greta Thunberg. You know, it's like that whole thing about the earth. The earth is like crying out, and so it felt to me, is this part of like the answer to our prayers, that God's saying, I'm going to give the earth some rest. I'm going to give the earth a Sabbath. And so I think that for me, we have to embrace that, therefore. So I see some people, you know, some pastors, leaders, particularly, trying to maintain what was rather than embrace this very different season. And
Wow.
so I think there's something about stopping, taking time, pressing reset, and thinking about our futures that
Mm,
may look different to what has been. So
mm.
that's my current thinking and what's resonating about this season.
That's so cool. I mean, it's so clear that, and it so resonates for me with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it will for everybody listening to us. It really is the repeating theme, which I've been hearing as well. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
we've got to recover Sabbath and recover the rest that we, and just, if anything, this period has been helping people to realize their limitations, isn't it? And to
yeah, 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 yeah,
recognize that we're mortal, we're finite creatures.
yeah, yeah.
Certainly in the Western world, we tend to live as if we're immortal most of the time,
No, I think you're
and
right. Yeah.
forget our limitations. Yeah, it's a time to
I mean,
embrace them.
there was a poem that was posted on Facebook really early on about Wuhan. I mean, whether you saw it, but it just talked about in Wuhan, you can now hear the birds singing, you can now see the sky, and I suppose that's happened here as well. I
Yeah,
think I've been struck by the amount of birds singing. I've been struck by the lack of noise, the lack of streaks in the sky with the planes going overhead.
mm,
We have a wisteria in our back garden, and we've had more blooms this year than ever before. And it's almost like the earth, I don't think, takes long to heal.
no,
And
it's got
I do wonder whether that's all part of what we're experiencing right now.
it's got this mechanism. It seems to snap back
Very
when
quickly, yeah,
given the
yeah,
chance, doesn't it?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think we also have that capacity as human beings to snap
yeah,
back, to readjust if we are allowed to,
yeah. That's
and
right.
or if we choose to. And that ability to rest, it doesn't
Yeah,
come naturally in our culture, but if we're given the
no, it doesn't.
opportunity, I don't think many people will want to go straight back into what they were doing before all this
No,
happened.
I think you're right. I think so. All this talk of easing lockdown, I think some people, a lot of people are going, "Oh no, we're actually quite enjoying this." It's interesting.
Yeah,
Whereas others
yeah,
like desperate to get back to what was. Now, obviously, some people financially, economically need to, and so I sort of get that.
mm,
And
yeah,
and some are still working really hard. My son-in-law is a doctor in the ICU department at the hospital here in Southampton. So he's working as hard as ever. And
yeah,
so there are childcare providers, teachers,
yeah,
business people who are struggling right now. So
yeah,
I sort of get all that, but
yeah,
I do think we all have an opportunity
mm,
to focus more on
yeah,
being rather than doing. And so
brilliant.
I've encouraged people to say, what are some things that are in your heart or in your hand that you've just neglected because of busyness.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
it
like
allows.
I've learned to make bread, for example,
Yeah,
during this
no,
time.
I've seen your amazing recipe cooking video.
Yeah,
Folks,
yeah.
I'm going to put
So,
the link at the bottom of this video so people can see you cooking bread.
yeah, come cook
As a
with me.
come cook with
Well, I
Billy.
just thought, I love cooking. I love entertaining, but I can't do that at the moment. So I thought I'll just cook a meal, put it online, and let people join. And so,
Brilliant,
people get the ingredients, they cook
love it.
along, and maybe try some. I try to be quite simple, but a little bit of a twist there as well. So I think it's
Mm,
all part of just exploring more of our being than our doing. About
mm,
cultivating ourselves.
yeah,
Uh,
and it allows those things that we've wanted to do, but haven't given space to or had the space to even think about. So
yeah, yeah.
for me, I'm just loving learning a few new licks on my guitar and things like that. So
Right,
it's
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I'm chatting to friends like this. I think that
yeah, yeah.
it, it is remarkable how much more creativity is being released around the place.
It's fantastic, isn't
Love
it,
it.
to
Yeah.
observe?
Well,
And,
hey Billy.
people are being very intentional about it as well, which is good.
Yeah. Any last thought? We need to finish this, but anything you want to leave us with?
Oh gosh, no, just make sure that you invest in what's in your heart and in your hands. That's how I would
In
say.
your hands.
A bit like when the prophet came to the widow's house and said, What's in your house?" And she went, "A little bit of oil."
Yeah.
And he, oops,
Oops, is that me?
that was me.
Yeah.
And so what was in her house was small, but as she focused on it, it multiplied. I think there are things we have in our houses, in our hearts, and in our hands that actually, as we give attention to them, who knows what will happen with them. So pay attention.
I love that. Pay attention. Yes. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Billy, for spending some time
Thanks, Phil.
wandering around the park with
Yeah,
me.
nice to see you.
And love
All
to you
right.
and Caroline. We'll see you soon, mate.
Yeah, you guys too.
Take care.
Pleasure, bud.
God bless.